Business, the place health and wellness practitioners come to create businesses that deliver both profit and peace. Let's dive in. I am ready to die on this hill and let you know that your website is likely costing you money. I really want to talk to websites because I have now seen behind the hood of so many websites, and we're going to dive in. If you are looking at creating your website, if you're feeling like you get stuck on how to do it, it may not be you, it may be the tech. And there are website tools that are so underrated that nobody talks about. And that's literally the only reason why is because there's no giant influencer who's promoted it. So let's dive into how you can start getting a more effective and faster and more functional website today. So I don't know if you know this, but my entire business journey started because I used to work in an automotive company, a really large ASX listed company, and I had all of these marketing coordinators out on sites that used to manage their websites. So me at head office, I was kind of like their little advertising and promotions manager, and I used to hire them and support them and train them and work with them. And I also had within the head office a website development team. And I don't know if you've ever worked in corporate and had web development teams, but sometimes they're not how do I word this nicely? They don't have the most social personalities. So I used to have this web development team, and they used to speak directly to the marketing coordinators, and the marketing coordinators would then call me crying on the phone or tearing their hair out because the web development team have had a go at them for something on the website, and it's been the most innocent mistake or something that no one has told them how to do it. Or the website development team tried to explain something to them, but because they didn't have the personality skills or the ability to speak at someone tech net level, they had no idea what they said. They were like, it's another language. So my whole entire business journey started because I was working in this corporate industry, and I decided, do you know what I need to do? I need to learn exactly how websites are built so that I can be the translator between my team and our web development team. What happened was I had this vision. I was like, okay, I'm going to create a website. It's going to have a what's hot and what's not list. I don't even know what else I thought it was going to be on the website, but I sort of envisaged this trending blog and website and me being this, I don't know, influencer blogger, and obviously showing my age and the time. It was, like 2010, maybe at the time, maybe it was later. Anyway, it became a vegetarian food site, which then became a vegan food site, which then led to me learning how to do food photography, then learned to me building a network, then becoming in a peer mastermind for other like health and wellness people within Australia, being featured in 2 cookbooks. They weren't my cookbooks. I was just featured in them with recipes. And then I decided to go forth and share my infertility journey. Then now here I am as a marketing consultant. And so I still remember the very first day of creating my website. And now I navigate through websites like a duck through water. I honestly have the biggest love heart eyes for WordPress. And I said to someone the other day, I could literally just sit in WordPress all day building WordPress sites. Not that I would call myself a graphic designer or a web developer, literally just a marketing person and consultant. But my first ever website was created on something called Joomla, which many of you don't even know about. And it was so bad, and I didn't know how to use it at all. It was so inflexible as well. And it's been this gradual process of learning about websites bit by bit. Like I said, if you ask any of my clients, they'll tell you one of my favorite things to do is peek behind the hood of client websites. And when clients then use the same software that I use, so fast, we can create like whole web pages in 15 minutes. That's how fast what I'm going to talk to you today is about. So I've now worked with almost every type of website backend, from Wix to Drupal to Squarespace to Joomla to WordPress to Shopify. And I can hands down tell you that there's been great and not so great website builders and page builders. So if you're a website rookie, or even if you've got one up but want to get a little bit more savvy, please tune into today's episode, because I'm going to explain a few website concepts for you and my absolute favorite website and tech stack. So tune in. When we look at creating a website, there's obviously many options out there. And many of you have heard of like Squarespace, for example, and Wix and Weebly. And what I want to introduce you to today is the concept of proprietary website builders and open source website builders. Now, let me explain. So, Squarespace, Wix, Weebly are all what are called proprietary website builders, right? I would even go so far as to say Kajabi would be one of them. And then what we have is open source website builders. Now, there's three major ones: Joomla, Drupal, and WordPress. And the most popular website builder in the world, particularly for anyone who publishes long form content, such as a blog, the number one website builder in the world is WordPress. There are actually two different WordPresses though, WordPress.com and WordPress.org. So what I am speaking about is WordPress.org. So let's just dive into all of the basic website things. So first you have a domain name. Your domain name is the name. So think of this like your address. Then you add in hosting. So the hosting is like the land. So let's think of this in the context of houses, etc. You buy the domain, that's the address. You buy the land, that's the hosting. Then what you do is you put in a website builder, and that is basically like the shell of the house. Then you put in a theme, that's like the decoration of the house and the style of the house. Then you add plugins, and that's different bits of functionality and user friendliness. It can also be parts of the design, but different things that you do that add in. So like blackout blinds, dimmable lights, a TV, all of that kind of stuff. So I hope that makes sense to you. So there's open source website builders and there are proprietary website builders. So a proprietary website builder means that a company has developed the software. They have not released that to anybody else, and it's closed. And so if you want to use that website builder, you go in and you create your website with that. If something then happens to the company, so let's talk about Squarespace. If something then happened to Squarespace and things went down, because usually with companies like Squarespace, a lot of them will also include hosting within their packages. If their software goes down, your website goes down. If the company shuts down, your website shuts down. And so what happens with that is, though, any other additional functionality, the look, the feel, etc., needs to have been developed by that company as well, because they own it. So the benefits of using a proprietary website builder such as Squarespace are going to be that it's more secure. You'll understand why soon, because this company has locked everything down and they've built it all from scratch. They're the only ones who can like see under the hood. But if something happens to that company, then that will also affect your website. And because there's only one company developing the software, this is why generally when you look at a Squarespace website, they actually all look fairly similar. And this is also why with Squarespace websites, when I go behind the hood, like I'm honestly not a fan. When I go behind the hood, there's so many things I want to do but can't do. And this is why when I'm trying to like add on functionality, change the looks, it feels really inflexible and slow to me, because they're inflexible, because there's only one company that's developed the software versus open source software. So the phrase open source is across many different industries. And essentially what it means is the nerds of the world have created the formula or the software, and then they've said, for the good of the planet, we're going to share that software for everyone to use. So they monetize in different ways. They monetize through hosting and things like that. But WordPress is an open source software. They have released the software into the world for the internet world to use. The upside of that is that there is so much that you can do with a WordPress site because they've opened up the software to everyone. So lots of different companies and lots of different people are investing in continually creating new softwares, new themes, new plugins like functionalities, looks, etc., to improve and add on to that software. So you end up with endless ability to be able to shift and change and have functionality and have really cool tools that you can use for software like WordPress. Game changer. It's also kind of developed to be really highly effective for long form content that ranks on Google. So when you have a WordPress website, game changer. But the problem with WordPress is that you have to, because they've released the software and what's under the hood, there's obviously also nefarious characters out there that want to, because they know how it works, then develop, viruses, etc. for it. So I've never ever once had anything happen to my WordPress website, but you do need to make sure that you have plugins for security, etc. If you ever want to know exactly what kind of plugins to use or what we use, head to my website and you'll see at the top menu, there's all of the different tools that I use on my website. You can download a black book and that's where I share with you, like, this is all the stuff that I use. These are the links, etc. So you can go and do that. So that is the difference between proprietary websites and open source websites. You need to consider having a security plugin, but in my eyes, it's incomparable, right? Because when you have a business and you really want to focus on profitability, you need to have a website that has all of these different tools built in. So sometimes when you have Squarespace websites and things like that, and I'm saying, well, we really need the ability to A/B test this landing page, and people are like, I'm on Squarespace, it doesn't do that. And then I'm like, we really need to be able to move this over here, then add this, then do this. And loads of people are like, it doesn't happen, doesn't do that. So I'm like, oh, come on, we want to be able to do this and test this and have this functionality and do this without always having to like add on, figure out, research, spend all this time looking for it. So I'm a huge fan of WordPress. And this is where your website might be costing you money because you're continuing to persevere with software that is really not user friendly. So it's costing you a lot of time, but it's also costing you a lot of money because it doesn't natively have particular functionality built into it. Now, there are also page builders / themes on WordPress, and these can also make or break your business. Some of them are really popular, and I've now, some of these names might ring a bell. So you might not know what I'm talking about, but this is the things that help you build your pages and layouts on WordPress. Maybe you're using Elementor or Divi or WP, like Visual Page Builder / WP Bakery. What I use that not enough people are talking about is something called Thrive Themes. I've got the link below if you want to have a look at it. But honestly, I've been using it since 2017, and I feel like it's the internet's best kept secret. So there's about 400,000 people, I think, across the world who use Thrive Themes. But I see a lot of really successful people being like, you need Showit. And I'm like, yeah, but does Showit have the functionality? So and people aren't really looking, people look at Showit from like a design / visual perspective. And when you're making decisions about your website, you need to be looking at decisions from a conversion perspective, right? And I'm going to explain to you in more detail about specifically how Thrive does that. But for example, on Showit, if you want to install the Facebook pixel to be able to track page views to a page, if you use Showit, you need to paste that pixel in on every single page. Like, seriously, really? Versus something like Thrive Themes. And I honestly believe that the reason why more people don't know about Thrive Themes is because some famous, in online business person hasn't discovered it yet themselves. Because the thing about Thrive Themes, it's the page builder. So you get a Thrive theme, it's about $299 per year. But what that does is it installs the theme as well as a ton of other functionality. So it has a website builder in it, and you can literally be like, next, next, next. And it'll be like, how do you want your blog to look? Yes, choose this template. How do you want the homepage to look? Yes, choose this template. And you have to probably see me in action when I use it. But I've used tools like Elementor and Divi, and it's so slow to build pages. Whereas with Thrive, it is drag and drop. It drag this here, drag this over there. Now I want an extra column, just drag it over there. It has page templates and blocks built in. So Divi, etc. does. You have not seen anything like Thrive. And this is why it is so quick to build pages, because it's literally everything just gets dragged and dropped everywhere. And then what Thrive also has, which not many of the other softwares has, is this added functionality within the package that you get. So you can get Thrive Optimize, which is A/B testing. If you listen to my podcast a couple of weeks ago, you will know about how big a fan I am of A/B testing. It has deadline funnels. So you don't need to have, especially if you've got evergreen funnels, you can have countdown timers, and particularly even cookie-based expiring countdown timers, right? So evergreen funnels, you need those. It does this. It also has Thrive Leads, which means you can embed short codes into pages. So let's say you have a blog post. What you do is you just insert like this couple of words in a bracket. So you could be like current lead magnet. Then what you could do is just insert the little code on the page. And then every time you wish to change that lead magnet, instead of being like, what page should I put that in? Now I need to go back and change that on every single page. You just change it in this one area, and that changes it right across the entire website. Game changer, right? So many people are just messing around with Divi and Elementor, and it's so inflexible, or Squarespace, even next level inflexible, that really when you use something that is more drag and drop based, you're going to get faster at your website. You're going to have the functionality that counts, which is pages and blog posts, etc., that convert. And overall, you're going to be saving so much time and making so much more money in your business with a great page builder. If you haven't tried Thrive, I highly encourage you to try. One thing though I do want to mention is there might be people who go, oh, I'm going to get Thrive and then I'm going to deactivate, and then I'm not going to deactivate my Elementor. All page builders clash with each other. So you have to deactivate the current one that you're using to be able to use it. We are considering doing some website accelerators. If that's something that you're interested in, please always DM me on Instagram, because as I said, I do love websites. If you want to learn more and get some tutorials as well, you can also look up our online business success setup, where we walk you through step by step, and it's a really accessible program. Again, check the show notes and all of the details are there. Thank you so much for today. I hope all of that has made sense. If you want to get the full black book of tech that I use as well, head to the website. It's all listed there. I hope you've loved this episode. And as you can tell, I actually am nerd out on website stuff. Would love to have a conversation with you on Instagram if any of that hasn't made sense. Have the best day. Well, that's Well Conceived Business for this week, done and on the books. Let's connect at Robyn Birkin on Instagram to keep the conversation going.